Everybody, it's Tina. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making chicken cacciatore in our Tupperware pressure cooker. So I'm really excited because you don't really need an excuse to make chicken cacciatore, but October 15th is National Chicken Cacciatore Day. Raise your hand if you knew that. And so I thought I would share with you a really simple recipe. Truth be told, we have some amazing products in our cooking systems line, and we actually have several different chicken cacciatore recipes for each of them. And so while this is in the microwave cooking, I'm actually going to show you all of the different microwave cooking systems that we have. And I then will tell you a little bit about how I've modified the pressure cooker recipe because I kind of mixed a little bit of the stack cooker recipe into the pressure cooker recipe. So let's get started. All right. So first thing, this is the Tupperware microwave pressure cooker. I love this. This is like a slow cooker for the microwave. And it is so amazing to me how you can make meals in 20 to 30 minutes, something that would normally have to sit in your oven for hours and hours. And for those of you that work outside of the home during the daytime, I'm just really not a fan of leaving a crock pot plugged in all day long while I'm not at home. I mean, how many of you watch This Is Us, right? So I don't like to do that. So if I'm home and I'm making something with a really large quantity, I will use my crock pot. But when I'm not going to be home, this is going to be the best bet because I can just come home and throw this into the microwave. And like I said, 20 minutes, just like that. You can make desserts in this. You can make side dishes, makes the best macaroni cheese in the world. And of course, we have some amazing entrees as well. So let's get started. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about our amazing pressure cooker. So you're going to notice that on the top of this, there is two silicone valves. And so this one has got like a little, I call it a little pucker. And so once it's under pressure, this actually purses its lips and you'll actually hear it hissing, just like a pressure cooker would on top of the stove. And then this one has got your pressure indicator. So it's going to elevate once it's under pressure. And it takes about 7 minutes for it to get under pressure when it's in the microwave. And then once you pull it out, it's going to stay elevated for about 5 to 7 minutes as well. So you never want to open it until that indicator has gone down. So I love this because those are two important safety features that we have. But here's what the next thing I want you to watch. So when you place the cover on here, you're going to notice that there's a triangle here and a triangle on the handle. But you'll also notice that my handles don't match. And that's because you have to twist it to lock it into place. And then look at that. It's not going anywhere. And then there's still one more. There is the handle that you put into place to lock it. We'll do that once we're ready to put all of our goodies in here. All right, so let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up some of our ingredients. And to do that, we're going to use our amazing chopper. This is our supersonic chopper. It has a little collar that fits right on top of it. It has a very sharp blade with a blade protector. And then for those of you that might want to whip up something, it actually has a whipper. We're not going to be using that. It also has a little funnel. So if you need to add some liquid to something, like if I'm making heavy whipping cream and I'm making some whipped cream into it, sometimes I want to use that little funnel to add some vanilla. So that's an example of how you might want to use that. So I'm going to just put my collar on. You just put the little band on there. You kind of mark the little pieces and then you give it a little twist. One of the other nice things about this is it does come with the seal. So if you chop something like chicken salad or egg salad, you can actually put the seal on this and put it back into the refrigerator. All right, so let's take a look at some of our ingredients that we're going to put in here. So first of all, we've got an onion. So it actually called for a full onion. I don't like when recipes do that. I'd rather that it tell me a fourth of a cup, a half a cup, or whatever, because onions are all different sizes. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of onions. I know you have to have them, but I don't want to put a whole lot of them in there because I don't want to taste them. All right, so we've got our red pepper in there. And we've got our onion, and I actually use a tricolor mix. And then I've also got some garlic and some fresh basil. So I've got look at the size of those garlic cloves. Are those not just ginormous? Look at that. And we've also got some fresh basil. All right. So let's do our magic. We're just going to place this cover on. So again, that's just sits right on top and you give it a little twist. And then the white handle is where the magic is. On the base of there, this is a rubber gasket, and that is going to hug your countertop so it doesn't dance all over the countertop. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So watch this. I'm just going to give this a couple, just like that. And the more you pull, the finer things are chopped. So it really depends on what you're making and how finely that you want something chopped. So that a little bit more. So probably about 8 pulls is going to be enough. Yeah. So this is nice and chopped, but it's not pureed because we don't want it. All right. Now always take and place this dirty blade right back in the blade protector just to be on the safe side. All right. So all of this is going to go right into the base of our pressure cooker. And I'm using my silicone spatula to scrape up all the goodies. So this silicone spatula is actually heat resistant too. So it's great if you're making candy. Caramel corn, caramel just peels right off of it. Turtles, yes, perfect. I probably have, I bet you 6 silicone spatulas in my kitchen. And sometimes they're all in the dishwasher. I need another one. All right. So all the goodies are inside of there. So we've got our bell pepper, we've got our onion, we've got our garlic. Okay, next we're going to add a little balsamic vinegar. So just a little bit. That's going to be a little bit of our liquid. Okay. Now, something else that I need is a little oregano. So we have just a teaspoon of dried oregano. Sprinkle that in there. All right, so something that I took from one of the other cooking systems recipes that was not in this particular one was mushrooms. And I'm not using fresh mushrooms, I'm using canned mushrooms because fresh mushrooms tend to have a lot of water in them when you cook them, and it makes the sauce a little bit runnier, and I don't want that. So now I'm just going to mix that yumminess all together. Now, the next thing you can add in here if you want to is red pepper flakes. Totally optional if you like something spicy. But what I'm going to be using is fire roasted tomato sauce. Yum. All right. So I've already opened up a jar, and I'm going to pour the whole jar of fire roasted tomato sauce inside of this. And again, your spatula will fit down inside of here so you can get every last bit out of your jar and not waste anything. All right, so here's the next switch up. So a couple of the recipes call for chicken breasts, and a couple of the recipes call for chicken thighs. So when you do chicken breasts, you put them in whole, and then you, after you cook them, you'll shred them. But when you do the thighs, you actually just cube them. So that's what I've done right now. I have cubed chicken thighs that we're just gonna put inside. And so when you're cooking in the pressure cooker, you just always want to make sure that you have liquid to cover your food. So that's what's real important. All right. So all the yumminess is in here. We're going to place this on top. Remember, the handles don't match when you put them on. We're going to give it a twist just like that. And now we're going to place this right into the little notches that you see right here. And watch this. Lock it into place. Now it's time for the magic. We're going to put this into the microwave for 20 minutes. And then remember, it will take about 6 minutes for that pressure indicator to come down. Let's get that all in there. So one of the things I did just a few minutes ago is I actually already cooked pasta. You can serve this on pasta or rice. If you're going to do rice, then I would probably use the stack cooker. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I like my pasta. So I've already placed my pasta inside of our pasta maker. You just lay your pasta in there, add the salt. You always want to salt your water for your pasta before you cook. And then lay your pasta in there, add the water. You want to add the water all the way up to the top, stick it into the microwave. Depends on what kind of pasta you're cooking. So this was a thicker pasta. So I wanted to make sure that it's fettuccine. So I wanted to make sure that it was al dente, but not too tough. So I cooked it for 13 minutes, and that's about the right time for that. Some, like if you're doing angel hair pasta, it's going to take a little less. And if you're doing something thicker like a rigatoni, it's going to take a little bit more. But I love this because, first of all, you don't have to heat up the house, right? That's always a good part. All right, so we're going to stick that right over here. So while that's cooking, I wanted to talk about the different cooking systems that we have because, like I said, we had a chicken cacciatore recipe for every single one of our cooking systems. So here's the first one I'm going to talk about. This is our smart multi-cooker. And yes, I have all of them on my kitchen and I use them all. So I think it's incredible to have these, and there's different things that I like to make in different products. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how this works. This has got a lot of different pieces. That's why it's called the multi-cooker. So if you take the base of this container, you can use it for cooking pasta and rice. So when you're cooking pasta, whether it's in the pasta maker or in this container, you always want to cook it uncovered, because just think about what would happen if you were to cover a pot on the stove, right? You know what would happen? It would boil over. So always cook in the microwave uncovered when you're doing pasta. For our rice, we're going to use this little insert. So it's got these, I call them little grabbers, and you place that right on top. So you've got your water that you're going to place inside there and your rice. And let me put that in right there we go. And then you're going to take this, cover it, and you literally just kind of run your hands around it. And I can't do it up in the air to show you because you have to have it on a firm surface. But you literally run your hands around here and you snap it down. And once you've heard it kind of pop probably, and once it's in place, then you put it to the microwave. It takes about 18 minutes to cook rice, not minute rice, regular long grain rice. And then when you're ready to open it, you just press down on the handles and it just pops it up. And then you use the little grabber. All right. So those pieces are what you're going to use if you're using this for pasta or for rice. Now, if you're going to be steaming something like steaming vegetables, then we have our colander. This is what we call a shielded colander because there's literally metal inside of this wrapped in Tupperware. And that's because microwaves pass through paper, glass, and plastic, but they bounce off metal. The microwave is a six-sided metal box. Yes, six-sided, because even that window, if you look at it real carefully, it has a metal screen in that glass, and that's where the microwaves bounce around and they can't come out, right? Because they're bouncing around in there. So this is metal, and here's what that means. It means that no microwaves touch your food. What's cooking is the steam. So you can actually put some rice in the bottom with your water, and then you could put your chicken on top, and you could actually steam this. And of course, the chicken just would run down on the rice, but that's going to just give it some delicious flavor. I love that. And you can also add a third level. Look at that. So in the chicken cacciatore recipe, here's what you do. You actually are going to start with the rice and the water in the bottom, and then you're going to put just the vegetables in there first, and you put them into the microwave for about 4 minutes and stir them all around. And then you're going to add, instead of a whole jar of sauce, because remember, this has got holes on it, you're going to use tomato paste and some seasonings. Then you're going to coat the chicken breast. So in that recipe, you use chicken breast, and then the cover is also a shielded cover as well, and you would put it into the microwave. So there's another way. My favorite way to use this, I've got a lot of ways. I use this for steaming shrimp. It's phenomenal for that. But this is also how we cook our eggs for hard-boiled eggs, but we don't really boil. They're hard steamed eggs. So 12 eggs, and if they're medium eggs, 12 eggs, 12 minutes. But if you're buying the large or the extra large, you're going to need a little bit more time. So probably about 14 minutes is what it's going to take for those extra large eggs. As soon as they come out, get rid of that hot water and then cover them with ice. So we just take ice out of the ice maker, dump it right on top, and let it sit in the sink. And then when the ice melts, it's time to put the eggs away. They're perfect. There's no green line because you haven't overcooked them. Perfect boiled eggs every single time, except they're not boiled, they're steamed. So that is our smart multi-cooker, and love this for so many different things. It's great for steaming broccoli and all kinds of vegetables as well. We love it. All right, the next product that we have is our Micro Pro Grill. And yes, we have a recipe for chicken cacciatore in here. So here's the secret about this. Yes, it's metal. Look at that, you all. So again, the microwaves are not cooking your food. What happens is this has got these little plates in the inside, and they actually are what gets hot, and the plates are what cook your foods. You can actually grill a steak in here. You can grill bacon in here. You can make a grilled cheese sandwich. So many different things. You can make a cake in here as well. So it's pretty awesome. But here's the secret. So when you look at this cover, there's two ways. So right here, there is a little, I'm gonna hold this just so you can catch the light. See that? There's a little emblem, and that is where you're either going to put it this way or this way. So if you put it like this, it's what we call a press. And you would not want to cook your chicken cacciatore like that because it would be squishing all over. But this is perfect when you're like cooking bacon or something that you want to grill. If you want to make like a panini press, a Cuban sandwich, this is perfect. But watch what happens. If you give it a quarter of a turn, now it's going to sit on top. Now, for those of you that have smaller families, this is like cooking with like an 8x8 pan. So you can make your lasagna in here. Any kind of casserole can be made inside of here. And as I mentioned, cakes. We actually have an insert. It's a round insert. I'm going to grab that real quick. And that fits right down in the inside. So if you wanted to make, see that? If you wanted to make a round layer cake, you could do that. Just make it a couple times and then you'd have several different layers. That's kind of a fun thing to do. But for your chicken cacciatore, you're going to put it in what we call the casserole position, just like that. And you're going to cook it in the microwave. Yum, yum. And you're not going to use the jar sauce. Again, you would use a tomato paste mixture. And the last one that we have is our stack cooker. I love my stack cooker as well. I love them all. So the stack cooker was actually the very first one that we had. And so it kind of holds a special heart, a special place in the hearts of all of the Tupperware consultants. We love this. So it has multiple pieces as well. It's called the stack cooker because you can stack up and cook items. So again, let's talk a little bit about each of the pieces. First, it does come with seals. So for those of you that find it necessary to prepare things in advance, maybe the night before, put it in the refrigerator and then come home from work, peel the seals, stack them up, boom, everything goes into the microwave, right? But let's talk about this. This is a 3-quart casserole. So literally any recipe that you have that says in a 3-quart casserole, you would be able to use this. Isn't that cool? And so you would just put your ingredients in here. And then the way you convert that is typically you're cooking in the microwave for 1/4 of the amount of time that you would cook in the oven. So most recipes are like 45 minutes to an hour for a casserole. So 45-minute, let's just say 44, 1/4 is 11 minutes. For an hour, 1/4 is going to be 15 minutes. So that's how you would adjust that. Now, it's not going to brown in the microwave. So a little secret is like most casseroles have like breadcrumbs on top. Sprinkle anything red. So you can use paprika on it. If you want a little zing, use a little cayenne pepper, and then that will brown up in the microwave and it will make it look like it is actually brown. Isn't that awesome? All right, so that's one thing you can do. It comes with a cone. So when you insert the cone, voila, guess what? Now you can do a butt cake. Yes, a cake. 9 minutes in the microwave. Boom. Box cake mix is perfect. You can also use this for making a meatloaf as well. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? All right, next we have the colander. And I use this colander all the time. Now, before we had the smart multi-cooker, I would actually steam my vegetables in this. But remember, that's a shielded colander and the microwaves don't get to it, right? This one is not. So you are actually cooking and steaming at the same time. So I did a side-by-side test and I love what the broccoli looks like in this smart multi-cooker more so than here. So that's why I use that for my broccoli. But let me tell you what this is awesome for. It's great for cooking meats. So, there's so many recipes out there that call for browned ground beef. And rather than putting a pound of ground beef in a pan and browning it, and then you have to drain the grease and wash the pan, right? And then a couple days later, you start all over, you do the exact same thing, put the meat in the pan, brown it, drain it, wash the pan. I mean, put it away all over again. So you can put up to 3 pounds in here. When you're cooking in the microwave, 6 minutes per pound. So what you're going to do is if you've got 3 pounds in here, you're going to put 6 times 3, 18 minutes. I put it in for 9 and take it out and stir it around and put it back in for 9. Now, you can do a couple things. You can just do straight ground beef. Sometimes what I'll do is I will make a ground beef mixture, and that's where I will put some bell pepper and some onions in it as well. So that's great if you're doing things like spaghetti. You can have that all done. I use it for tacos. It's so fast and easy to put that together. You can also use this for ground turkey. Again, you're ready for those casseroles that call for some ground turkey. And I also use it for ground pork. You know, when you're making my favorite thing, rotel dip and ground sausage, right? Perfect for that. So brown that, get rid of all of the grease. That's what's so amazing. You're going to see all of the grease inside of here. Ditch that. And now you've just got the meat. So much easier to clean up that way too, right? And it doesn't splatter all over. Now this one right here is the one that you use as the cover. So that's how you put that into the microwave. All right, now let's talk about how it becomes a stack cooker, because it becomes a stack cooker when you take the 1 3/4 quart casserole, which again could be used as a standalone casserole. So if you've got a smaller casserole that you're making, maybe it's a side dish, you could put it in here and put it into the microwave. Again, 1/4 of the amount of time that you would cook it in an oven. So you could cook it either covered or uncovered, depending upon what the recipe says. But as a stack cooker, here's the beautiful part about that. We have boatloads of fun, delicious recipes that you can make where you'll put typically a side dish, a pasta, a rice, or a vegetable in the very bottom. And then in the middle is where your entree goes. And then in the top is a 3/4 quart. Yep, it was the cover, but flip it up. And now it is a 3/4 quart casserole. And this can be used for either another vegetable, or it can be used for a dessert. Oh my gosh, the best apple crisp. It's amazing. And you stack it up like this. And for all of the recipes, you can just set it and forget it. You put it in the microwave 25 minutes, set it, forget it. It's all done. And the way it's stacked is really so smart, because what's on the bottom is typically something that's going to get the heat from the top container and the microwave from the side. The middle is going to get the heat from the bottom, the heat from the top, and the microwave from the side, of course. And then the top one is either something that has a high sugar content, like that apple crisp that I mentioned, or sometimes you're going to do something that's what we call shielded in liquid. So it might be a vegetable with a lot of liquid, or even another really yummy recipe is like poached pears. So you can put pears, and then I like it with cranberry juice and a cinnamon stick, or some cinnamon vanilla seasoning, whichever way you like it. And you can poach those. And because microwaves, again, are attracted to fat, sugar, and water, it's going to be attracted then to that liquid, and that is what's going to actually cook. You're going to cook the liquid, which will then poach the pears. So that is our stack cooker. And yes, there is a chicken cacciatore recipe for the stack cooker. So if you're one of our awesome customers already have one or two of these pieces, you know, the versatility, you can probably use it for whatever recipe that we share in many cases. But if you really want to be a Tupperware pro, you're going to want to make sure that you have them all, because there's so many different things that you can do with the different pieces that you can't do, for example, with some of the other ones. So that's why I really like it. For example, the Micro Pro Grill, you can really brown in that, and none of the other products will actually brown your food. All right, let's check our microwave. We've got about 5 minutes left. So I want to take a minute to talk about something that I'm gonna be doing. I actually am gonna have a side salad to go along with this dish. So we've got the pasta and we've got the chicken cacciatore, which is filled with vegetables and the chicken. And then I've got a salad. So this is our salad spinner, and we have this one's a little bit old, but this is the one I have in my kitchen. We just recently had one available. It's not always available in our line, and sometimes it's available exclusively for our hosts. But what you do is you place your vegetables in here, and you're gonna soak them in water. Just get them nice and wet so that they're covered, and get all of the dirt and nickies. Even if your salad says previously washed or pre-washed, don't believe it. That's a leading cause of salmonella. And so you want to make sure that you get rid of all of those nasties, right? And so once you do that, then you're just going to put the basket back inside. And we've got a lot of liquid here. So I'm going to pour that out. But here's what's really cool. Then you put your spinner on. All right. And you spin this around. Now, don't open it while it's spinning because you will truly have a tossed salad then. And now I want you to just see what happened. Remember, I just dumped out liquid, but this container here, that's about a fourth a cup of water that I just spun off of that. And why is that important? Because if I had just put my salad dressing on it, it would have gotten all runny, and that's never a good thing. So all of my fruits and vegetables are stored in our Fridge Smart. So as you can see, I have a lot of Fridge Smart in my refrigerator, and I keep it on my shelves. And this is where I keep all my produce, my fruits and my vegetables. So I'll give you a little bit of an example. Let me grab this little one out because it's in the bowl. And you'll notice they're on the shelves. And you might say, well, I don't have room in my refrigerator for that. You will if you do what I do. You see these bins down here? Those are what they call the non-crisper drawers, right? Because they really don't keep your fruits and vegetables fresh at all. That's why we throw so much of it out. So that's where I put all of my bottles and jars. So on one side, I have what I call the sweet things. So that's where I have jams and jelly and honey and things like that. Well, I don't really refrigerate my honey, but anything sweet. And then on the other side is where I have the savory items, pickles, olives, and all those kind of jars that normally would be on the shelves of your refrigerator, taking up what I call valuable real estate. And so what I find works absolutely perfect is to put those jars inside of the drawers, and it leaves all my shelves open for my Fridge Smart. So when you put your fruits and vegetables inside, you can combine things as long as they're in the same category. So there's 3 little rows here. And so you find what you've got inside of here, and it's going to tell you whether it's needs to have a lot of venting or a little or no venting, and where you close it. And that's where this little slider comes into place. You just slide this to adjust the amount of venting that this is going to get. And so what this does is it keeps your fruits and vegetables fresher much longer. You know, moisture is important. And if you just throw them in the crisper drawer or just put them in the refrigerator, the little motor that's in the refrigerator that sucks out the moisture so that you don't get frost on your refrigerator sucks the moisture out of your vegetables. And so by having it in an airtight container, it's going to keep that moisture from being sucked out of vegetables. But it's amazing what's going to happen, because every couple of days you'll notice that there's some liquid in here. And that's why we have these little channels here. So your fruits and vegetables are not sitting in there. Now, it's just the 2 of us. And so I find that my fruits and vegetables really last a really long time. I buy at Costco the big romaine lettuce, and I think there's 5 or 6 of the romaine stalks in there, and I keep those in there. Well, gosh, it takes literally, you guys, 5 weeks. They'll stay fresh. But in the meantime, water is accumulating, and I don't let that water stay in there for 5 weeks. So what I do is usually like once a week, I'll open it up and I'll pour out the water that's in the pot, because you don't want a lot of excess moisture in there. But I will tell you, You will be amazed at how much money that you are going to save by using Frischmart. To me, it is one of the smartest investments that you can make in your kitchen because it's going to keep you from throwing away food. Because we buy vegetables, we use part of them, and then what do? We throw it away and then we go back and we buy some more, use part of them, and then we throw it away and go back and buy more. And I promise you, if you're using Fridge Smart, that's not going to happen. All right, so let's check out our yummy. All righty. So listen, can you hear it hissing? You'll notice that that indicator right there is up. Don't open it. And don't get impatient and use your spatula and try to hit it. You don't want to do that. It's still cooking, it's steaming. So, what you're going to do is wait until that indicator goes down, and it's going to take roughly 5 to 7 minutes. So, that is pretty awesome. Would you all not agree? I love that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to get my plates and we're going to plate things up. Okay, so first, I'm going to put my pasta. These are our fun tongs. I love our tongs. So that's probably a little bit too much pasta. Nobody needs that much. Want it? Yes. Need it? No. I always cook a little extra pasta because it's great leftover the next day, and there will definitely be leftovers on this recipe for sure. So I'm gonna just put it in the refrigerator and we'll be able to reheat that. They're not leftovers, they're called planovers. Okay, let me show you something really cool. Watch this. They come apart just like that. So when you put them in a drawer, they store flat. So you don't have to worry about them getting stuck in the drawer. But when you're ready to use them, you just snap them together just like that. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I know. Love, love, love that. Okay, so we've got that. We need to get our salad out. So this is just hissing away. So I'm gonna scoop my salad into my bowls. How easy is that? Oh, let me grab my tongs again. So I can hear it. The hissing is beginning to stop. All righty. So everybody always says, do you not eat off of Tupperware plates? Well, I'm going to just tell you these are Tupperware plates that I earned. So this is a friendship fountain. This is our Tupperware symbol. If you've ever seen it in the catalog, you'll know that. And so my plates and bowls and I've got cups and saucers and everything. They all have that friendship fountain on them. So while they're not made of Tupperware, they really are Tupperware plates. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Alrighty. So we've got our salad. All right, now it's time, almost, for the unveiling. How to get a ladle. Now, as soon as it goes down, we get to open it up, and you're going to get to see the yummies for inside. All right, you see it? It's starting to wobble a little bit. That's how I know it's almost finished. And as soon as it goes down, popping that little baby open. Now, let me just share with you, I do have some Parmesan cheese already to the side here. So we'll sprinkle that on top and then we will be ready. I might need a fork. Let's grab a fork. I'm a little impatient. Don't be impatient. Don't open it before it's ready. It's like a fine wine. You have to wait. So on this side, I don't think you can see it without me tilting it. You'll notice that this is puckered right there. See it? So it's still hissing just a little bit. And then this is still elevated. So once it goes down, we're going to open the lock. We'll twist it and stir and serve, and we are ready to go. Oh, I can see it's just about ready. It starts bubbling right around the edges. I don't think you can see it right there. Can y'all see the little bubble in there? It's finally down. Took forever counting, didn't it? So you'll see that little indicator right there. It's done. So here's all we're going to do. We're going to lift this up and then we're going to give it a twist and then open it away. Lots of steam. Ooh. Alrighty. And I'm going to tilt the bowl so you can see what this looks like. It looks delicious, doesn't it? All right, and we're just going to put a scoop of that on our pasta with the yummy meats and all those vegetables. And sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese. And guess what? It's molten lava. So I'm not going to take a bite because I'll definitely burn myself. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you learned all about our cooking systems and you're inspired to cook some yummy foods for your family as well. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.